welcome to another Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday. Today, I'm going to unbox and take a quick look at a Game of Thrones Betwixt, a card game of neighborly betrayal. This is from Fantasy Flight Games. We all, well, I don't want to assume, but a lot of you know A Game of Thrones. It is based on a book by George R.R. Martin, or a series of books. The Song of Fire and Ice series, which has been made into a TV series on HBO, which was met a lot of critical acclaim, and there is now a prequel of that on TV as well right now. But the books were very good, and I think they did 5 of them and did not complete them. The series actually went 8 seasons, so 5 books, 8 seasons. You do the math. They kind of started making up their own stuff there at some point. But very good. I would recommend both the series and the books. Have read them both and watched them both. So what is this, though? What is this Betwixt stuff? Well, let's take a look at the backs and see if we can figure out what this is. This is definitely going to be themed with Game of Thrones, but it's got this kind of a different system in here. As it says here, manipulate the tangled politics of King's Landing in the unpredictable power struggle of Game of Thrones Betwixt. In this fast-paced card game, you lead your house as one of the 9 conspiring characters. You'll use your influence to attract new allies, but those allies are shared between you and your neighbors, so beware. Even your closest companions have other loyalties. Alrighty. So I guess there's going to be, you share allies. So that kind of reminds me of, there was another game. I don't think it was, it might have been Fantasy Flight, but where you kind of shared buildings as you were building out stuff. So I don't have that game, but I remember it. It will come to me. If you guys know, drop it in the comments down below. It was something like between 2 ferns. it was something like that. So this would be interesting. This sounds like it has more of a political bent to it, which the Game of Thrones was very much a political series and saga. It was basically medieval politics based on the War of the Roses, which was one of the English Civil Wars. It wasn't the English Civil War. And then, of course, with a fantasy theme. But there's more medieval politics and backstabbing than there is fantasy. But that's just my opinion. All right, here's the rules. 12 pages. Got some card clarifications there. So really the rules, you got alternative rules, advanced rules. So let's look about the basic rules. Looks like they are 9 pages. So not that complicated. Here's your setup. Here's your fundamental concepts, object of the game, playing the game, clean up, winning the game. So there you are. There's your basically 8 pages. What did I say? What is the player count on this again? It is 3 to 6. You're going to need at least 3 people to play this. Of course, that kind of fits with the politics. Plus, you're going to have some allies between you. There's some other Game of Thrones games here. The board game, excellent. One of the better board games I've ever played. I really should cover that. And actually, I potentially have a giveaway for that. Game of Thrones Hand of the King, that's a decent game. It's a more of a filler, but it's not bad. It pales in comparison to Game of Thrones. The board game is kind of the definitive Game of Thrones game, in my opinion. And then here, I guess there's an electronic version of it. But there's quite a bit of Game of Thrones games, and Fantasy Flight owned the license for a while, so they had like some card game. They had the Game of Thrones, the collectible card game, or the card game. Very good. I really enjoyed playing that. I don't think I've done anything on that when I probably should, because I do like playing that. Played that with my son, and I haven't played it in a while. So here is this is a little bit thicker piece here, but it's in a baggie, and that might be a keyboard in this. We've got wrapped counter sheet, but it looks like it's coins or influence, with some counters up here as well. Decent thickness. That's wrapped. All right. And they said this is a card game, so this is going to be about the cards. So let's take a look at the cards here. Ooh, interesting here. Let's look at the big cards first, right? You want to see the big ones, the big cards. These have different backs. Then these have all the same back. So these must be the character cards. Oh, there we go. So we got the Tyrells, Tyrion, Daenerys, Jon Snow, you know nothing, Cersei, Eddard, Dorian Martell, Greyjoy, and Melisandre. All right, there we go. So those are probably some key characters. Imagine there's an active and an exhausted side, maybe. I don't know. You tell me. I haven't played the game yet. I picked this up. This was a part of Miniature Market holiday sales. I'm posting this much long after that, but this is going to be going in Kilroy's Bargains because this did not cost much at all, and that's why I picked it. I like the theme, and it looked like an interesting kind of card game here. So we got numbers up here. We've got names. We've got some events or some actions or activities or things that come into play, like when claimed during the round. So that tells you when it activates. I think the art looks fine. It's kind of reminiscent of the card game, in my opinion. O'Shea, that's Tyrion's paramour. Very cool, very cool. All right, so those are the big cards. Those must be maybe the allies, and maybe you buy the allies or get influenced with the allies, because that's what those coins are up there. Again, I haven't read the rules yet. Probably need to. And you got your round structure. Got 6 of those because you can play up to 6 players. So here's what you do in a round. And then you got some card distribution. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so those are player aids right there. And then we have the cards. Ooh, betrayal. So those are the different cards. So it looks like these are standard, and there's multiple, well, not standard, but there's multiple versions of these. So these are probably the core of the game, playing these cards here. And they have different numbers on them, so maybe is it a trick-taking game of sorts? Pray tell. Need to take a look at that. I like the art. I don't know, I like the looks of it. These are specific to the characters. So they have, so it looks like the characters are going to have special cards, maybe. Maybe? All right, there you have it. Well, I need to read its rules. I need to get into this a little bit more. The theme is, I like the theme, anything Game of Thrones. I haven't quite got into the new series, the prequel yet. I watched a little bit of it when I was on vacation because it was in the hotel, and I didn't, or the condo we stayed at, and I don't have the channel that it's on normally. I think it's on HBO again, but don't have that nowadays, so I need to pick that back up. So there you go. There's all the cards there. And we got the counters of sorts. And the rules. Don't need no stinking baggies. Don't need no stinking baggies. All right, there you go. There is Game of Thrones. A Game of Thrones betwixt, yeah, that's what it says. From Fantasy Flight, card game, Game of Thrones. Well, how many card games do we need on Game of Thrones? But yet another Game of Thrones card game. This one looks interesting. Looks a little bit quicker than the other one. Not as involved. The other one is a deck builder where you're kind of pre-build your decks and then challenge somebody, kind of like a Magic. It's a living card game, or became a living card game. So this is different. This is a set setting. You got your set deck and your allies and your cards, and I'm gonna have to get to this. Hopefully, I'm filming this before the holidays. Hopefully, I can get it to the table during the holidays when the family's around, and then I'll report back. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I'd love to know your thoughts on this game or anything else that's on your mind. Just keep it civil. Anyway, take care. Bye.
Thanks for watching.